What's going on, everybody? Today, Karate Kid Fanatics back here again. We got our special guest today, Grayson, aka the sleazy landlord Rodney from Cobra Kai Season 3. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Man. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so what made you want to get in, to the acting industry?
Man, I was a sports anchor before I was an actor in California, and I finished my contract with Fox and CBS. I think I was up for a job as the weekend anchor in Denver, and I
Yeah.
just said, if I'm going to try this acting thing, I better do it now. So I moved down to LA and have been doing it ever since, man. It's just, there's no limit to it. I think that's one of the things that attracts you is you can do it forever.
Yeah. Yeah, so what was your audition process like for Cobra Kai?
Pretty simple. Just a taped audition for my Atlanta agent. And like most of those, you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I could send you the audition. It's pretty much the same as you saw on the show.
Yeah. So how much of it did they give to you? Was it your scene with Tori or your scene with Kreese?
I did both scenes. I auditioned both scenes.
Yeah, so what was it like filming that scene where, he had the cigar cutter?
Martin Cove is a legend, man.
Yeah.
He's been in everything since the dawn of man. So it was just a joy to shoot with him. And the stunt sequencing that we did to get around the little wrestling move and to get into the lock with the cigar cutter, he was a joy to work with. And I would have gladly sacrificed an actual finger for that scene. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so did you was all your stuff all script or did you improvise anything?
I had some improvised stuff. I think the end of that scene, I say some stuff to him. Please don't do it. All that stuff was all improvised. But for the most part, Josh and Hayden and those guys have such a good grasp on what they're doing over there. You try to stay out of the way and let the story tell itself.
Yeah, I liked your line to Tori's like, if I had an inflatable pool, I could have sold tickets.
Yeah, that was a late edition. That line came in, I don't know, 2 weeks before the shoot. So that was relatively new. Yeah, that was great.
So did they shoot all your stuff in one day?
Yeah, they sure did. So we shot the Tory scene first in the apartment complex. And I was hanging out between scenes in an apartment that had like this wolf painting and it had a bunch of crushed up beer cans.
Yeah.
And I said, whose apartment am I sitting in? And the production designer looked at me and said, whose apartment do you think this is? And I looked at all the crushed up beer cans and the lone wolf painting on the wall. And I said, I guess it's Johnny's.
Yeah. 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 So what was it like being in that, his apartment?
Oh, it's just funny. I mean, I think for most of us, especially people that are my age that grew up with the Karate Kid and all that stuff, Johnny is worth the price of admission, right? Seeing a guy who was your classic bully now down on his luck being the loser, it's a great role. I think in a lot of ways, I was thinking about this yesterday before I came on here. I think in a lot of ways, Ralph Macchio has a tougher role because he kind of has to play the douchey, at least in the beginning, to contrast with Johnny being sort of a sympathetic character. And that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think the show has really struck a chord. I mean, it's evidence to, being on your show and being on a couple of other shows like this, what a phenomenon it is.
Yeah.
And it's such a positive show. I think that's the thing that I keep saying is in today's day and age with so much negativity, it's so nice to have a show that just leaves you with that fresh and sort of positive vibe.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I assume your stuff for season 3 was filmed in 2019. What was that big waiting process like?
I think it was shot. Yeah, October of 2019 sounds right.
Yeah.
It was interesting because it was on YouTube Red.
Yeah.
And then it was like, where are they going to go? Hulu? Are they going to go Netflix? And then, I played villains every now and then, and really enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
that was sort of my first really high profile bad guy. And so I was really looking forward to kind of showing my agents and
Yeah.
girl, like, hey, look, I can play a bad guy, really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
so I was lucky to have it.
Yeah. So do you remember how they choreographed, like where, Tori was like going to break your arm?
I do. They have great stunt people on Cobra Kai, great choreographers. Janelle, I think is the girl's name. I've forgotten the other gentleman's name. But they're phenomenal. So they take you into a dojo.
Yeah.
And they take you through, the action. And a lot of that, as you know, is selling it as an actor. But I've said this a number of times. Peyton was amazing to work with. And when you see her kick out the gutter at the end of that scene,
Yeah.
that was one take. That was the first one. She nailed it.
Yeah.
Literally. So, and couldn't have been a nicer person. So.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your upcoming, I think it's a film, Vortex.
Oh, so I'm shooting a 9-part film anthology called 9 Lives, and Vortex is like the through line to that anthology. So it's if you know who Nikola Tesla was and Thomas Edison, it's kind of loosely based on those two guys and their rivalry as scientists. So Tesla, as you know, has created basically everything that we live on today, alternating current. And Edison did everything that he could to stop that from happening, including electrocuting an elephant in the middle of Broadway in New York.
Yeah.
So you know a little bit about that. So yeah, we're shooting that in a couple weeks, and then we're shooting another thing called The Place, which is a Shutter Island meets Inception. That's also part of that anthology. So I grew up with Creepshow and Tales from the Crypt, and then later on VHS and Halloween. And so this is just a chance to get a bunch of different writers and a bunch of different cast and crew together and put together a 9-part film anthology, and it's been a blast.
Yeah. So speaking of COVID, what is some of the changes y'all are having to do protocol wise going on set now?
So it totally depends on the show. I'm on a show right now in New Mexico where I'm tested every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's a home test or somebody coming to the hotel. But then I did a show before this where, it was one test and that's it.
Yeah.
So, and then on set, and I did like the Law and Order episode I did, you'd have the mask on until they were getting ready to roll. Then you hand the mask off, do the scene, then they hand it back.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. It really is. But it's great that they're moving forward, and SAG, after the union for the actors, has done a really good job of making sure things continue.
Yeah. Speaking of the move from YouTube to Netflix, what was that like for you?
Well, I mean, Netflix is king of the castle now, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's HBO and Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a huge score for them. And I thought it was fantastic. Again, I think Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, right?
Yeah.
Those are your two crown jewels, I think, at this moment for Netflix. And they both have a lot of youth and a lot of energy and a lot of positivity. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm just lucky to be associated with it.
Yeah, I don't know for you, but some of the people I've spoke with, they said that they think that they're getting more opportunities now that they can put, #1 Netflix show on their resume. I don't know how true that is, but
yeah. I mean, I don't either, man. Honestly, it's nice. I think at the end of the day, you have to serve the role and serve the part that you're playing, and they have to need you on that day for that thing, and that trumps everything else. Yeah. But it sure is nice. I know the love and the family, really. Like, there's this huge network. I mean, yourself and YouTube channels and social media, who are talking about it, and so I expect it's going to go on for another couple seasons.
Yeah. So was all your stuff? Did they shoot that at just like on a soundstage for Cobra Kai?
They did. Yeah, they shot it on a soundstage in Atlanta, Georgia. And as I was leaving set that day, I saw Ralph Macchio pulling up in his 19, whatever that is, 56 yellow.
You get a picture of it?
Yeah.
I would be.
The Mr. Miyagi machine from the
Yeah.
original movie. He was rolling up in that car, and I just thought to myself, what a perfect end to a perfect day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite part of getting to work on Cobra Kai?
I think working with Martin Cove.
Yeah.
He and I were, from the moment I got there and I was in the makeup chair, you know, he came up and said, "Hey, are you playing Rodney?" And I said, "Yeah." And then we sort of talked about, and he's an East Coast guy and I live out on the East Coast now. And so we talked about, you know, New York and Hoboken and Jersey and all that stuff. And he was just a real gentleman and such a veteran. And I'd love to work with him again. I think he's great.
Yeah, so I was looking at your IMDb, you know, your actor, producer, writer, director, you know, et cetera. What is it like going, you know, from the different, you know, hats, you know, in the acting industry or the entertainment industry, I should say?
I think it helps you tremendously on both sides, right? As a director, it helps you understand actors, right? Because so when you do a film, if you write a film and you direct and produce a film, you're going to be with that thing for at least 12 months.
Yeah.
Probably more like 3 to 4 years because you have to distribute it, sell it, market it, all that. As an actor, you're with that thing for 2 months, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a huge difference. And it also, as an actor, helps because it reminds you that whether or not you get the part has little to do with what you think it does. A lot of times we get in our heads and we say, "Oh, it was because I didn't do this little tweak here or there," and it's like, nope, had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So it's nice to go back and forth that way.
Yeah. So what brings you the most excitement, you know, being able to be an actor?
I like doing all of the work, man. Meaning doing the backstory, where you came from, your favorite color, your favorite food, all those things, so that when you get onto set, so like when I was a play-by-play football, basketball, baseball announcer, it was the same thing. You did all this research on the players and the teams, and during the broadcast, you might bring up 5% of that. But that 5% were real precious jewels. And the same thing as an actor. You do all the work, all the character history. If you do your job, you know that character better than the producer, better than the writers, because you've been with it. You know what he's going to do. And so when they notice something like that, when a producer, writer, director says, "You know, I didn't think about that. That's great." That's the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah. So for Cobra Kai, did all your scenes make it or did anything get cut?
I mean, some minor stuff got cut. And the minor stuff that got cut was when Kreese comes to visit Tori, I'm in the background and I'm I'm doing all this sleazy flirtations with her.
Yeah.
In the background, I'm like, you know, kissing at her, winking at her, you know, telling her to stay quiet, all that stuff, you know.
Put that on a DVD or something.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I ran out of douchey gestures, and she laughed about that. I was like, "That's all I got. I got the wink and I got the kiss."
Yeah. So what's your next goal, you know, in acting? Like, what do you want to achieve next?
Well, the show I'm shooting right now is called Outer Range, and it's shooting here in New Mexico, and it's kind of like the Hatfields versus the McCoys with a bit of a supernatural element. Josh Brolin is the star. Brad Pitt is producing it. And I'm playing a kind of a cocky sheriff who's going to battle in this election with the main female sheriff.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, this is, you know, depending on how things play out, right now I'm in 2 episodes. We'll see if there's more.
Yeah.
But that's always the dream, my friend, is to be able to kind of fall in love with a character and get to revisit and grow with the show. And if the story goes that way, then I would be living the dream, as they say.
Yeah. So what was it like? You recently appeared on an episode of the New Amsterdam.
Right. New Amsterdam was great, man. I got to play a director, which I've done a couple times, so that was
Yeah,
nice. uh, Great people, just really nice, very efficient. Got to shoot that in Brooklyn, New York,
yeah,
and that was really during the thick of COVID. So it was cool to be able to go to work, even though there was all those restrictions, and still push through it. And I thought they were so efficient at that. But it's a great show, man. Ryan Eggold, the lead guy, couldn't have been more easygoing and friendly and helpful. And Freema gives an incredible speech during that episode. And just, when you meet such a great group of people, you realize why they've been on the air as long as they have.
yeah, yeah. So, what is your favorite project that you've got to be a part of so far?
It's an easy answer. As an actor, it's playing Butch Cassidy on the show Gunslingers. And
Yeah,
that was in 2015. Getting to rob banks, rob trains, shoot guns. I mean,
yeah,
that's the. I don't think I stopped smiling for about a year.
yeah. So, if you could be in any movie of any time period, what would it be?
Huh. Whew. I'm from Texas, man, so I guess a Western.
Yeah, yeah, that seems like that'd be something that'd be kind of cool to play. Yeah.
What's your favorite Western?
Um, Indiana Jones. I like those movies. It's kind of a
Oh,
western
okay.
in a way.
Raiders of the Lost Ark and stuff like that.
Yeah. Some Walker Texas Ranger too.
Oh, have you seen the new one?
Nah, I've just seen a little bit. Like I've seen a couple episodes of the original or whatever.
Yeah, that's shooting in Austin. I have a bunch of friends that have been in that, but
Yeah.
yeah, Western. I mean, I was raised on Lonesome Dove. Deadwood is probably my favorite television series of all time, the HBO Western.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's just I mean, because it's funny because I'm not really like that, but it's just I don't know what it is about horses and
Yeah.
doing everything with your hands. I like to be active, So.
Yeah. It's funny. Every time I go over to my grandpa's house, he's watching Gunsmoke.
Oh wow,
Yeah, he loves westerns. That's all he watches.
Marshall Dillon, man, Marshall Dillon,
Yeah.
James Arnett.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Martin Cove. He's been in quite a few westerns too. That's one of his favorite things.
Yeah, it's funny because he's an East Coast guy, but he's got a great face for westerns.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite part of Cobra Kai season 3?
Okay. Well, as an actor, I really appreciated the job that Miguel did in the hospital bed. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of the movie Magnolia.
I've heard of it, but no, I've not seen it.
You'd love it. So it's a great movie. Tom Cruise, one of his best roles, but one of the main parts of that movie is Jason Robards is in a hospital bed the whole film, right?
Yeah.
And that, as an actor, is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're just laying, there's just not much for you to do. So to watch Miguel as a young actor really bring all that emotion, those scenes with Johnny in there, I think that's probably my favorite, actor appreciation moment.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
favorite personal moment is Bobby's sweep of the leg of Johnny in the church.
Yeah, that was in the church. Yeah, Johnny. It was funny the stuff Johnny was saying. Too bad your Wayne can't get Tang no more and all that.
My favorite Johnny line is when he's researching rehabilitation for Miguel, and he pulls up WebMD and he goes,
WebM. Yeah. Yeah.
Genius.
My favorite line of his is when he's talking to Robbie's guidance counselor or whatever it was, and he's like, "Who's Molly? Is that some chick he's hooking up with? It's an illegal drug, Mr. Lawrence."
He gives his laptop to the pawn shop guy, and he's like, "It's broken." He's like, "Did you charge it?"
Is that a juice?
It's not a juice.
Did you plug it in?
Good stuff.
So, with the ending of Cobra Kai season 3, are you team Cobra Kai or team, I guess, combination now is what it would be, with the combination of the Eagle
Right.
Miyagi.
Yeah, man, I think it's definitely. I'm going whatever direction John Kreese is going.
Yeah.
I think Rodney is probably his minion for life now.
Yeah. Hey, maybe Rodney will start training with Stingray or something. Maybe they'll bring Stingray back.
We'll take care of business, man.
Yeah. Maybe Rodney can get some new property for him or something. Who knows?
That's right. Get him some cheap rent in exchange for who knows what.
Well, I mean, Chris is living at the dojo, so maybe you can get him an apartment over there at, your place or whatever, and he can get you some protection over there. Who knows?
Get him a little penthouse suite right above the dojo, a little multi-purpose action.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so what do you want to do? Like, do you see yourself coming back in Cobra Kai at any point, or do you think that was just, a one-time thing?
Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. I would love to come back. I think again, villains seem to be a nice fit.
Yeah, yeah,
And I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So it would play right into my wheelhouse. And I love working with those guys. The creators of the show couldn't have been more kind. And I know during the day they took me aside and said, yeah, you seem like a really nice person. This guy's a really bad guy. And I said, I grew up in the 80s. And
yeah,
so all the Cobra Kai got Bobby and Dutch and all those guys were
yeah.
like the classic 80s bad guys in that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right. And that's what I was trying to do. It wasn't brain surgery. I was trying to pay homage to all
yeah,
the great 80s bad guys.
yeah. So yeah, what was your like? Have you seen all the Karate Kids?
Yeah, I probably have. I mean, the first one is,
It's the best, hands
that's,
down.
well, I mean, I'm not saying it's my, you have memories of like my mom and I standing in line for 5 hours to get into
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah. So you saw it in theaters?
I saw the theater, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
It's exactly how I felt when I walked out of Rocky 3
Yeah,
and Rocky beats Mr. T. You feel like you can take on the world. And I think what's great about Ralph Macchio is he's not 1,000 pounds and he's not intimidating. And
he's not intimidating.
yeah,
anybody can do it,
yeah. It's kind of like Miyagi. I mean, he was just a little dude, but nobody could ever really, throw anything at him.
I think Die Hard is a great example of that. That was the first 1988, 89. That was the first big movie where the regular guy
Yeah,
rises to the occasion kind of a thing.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think, and it's also nice. I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating that watching Ralph Macchio and William Zabka kind of rise, be on a hit show after being really, really popular and really famous, very young in life.
yeah.
And who knows if it was by their own decision or not to either step away from the business or maybe the business wasn't coming to them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they just ran into a lot of typecasting.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
That's always great to see.
Yeah.
Guys who stick with it and find that mountaintop again. It's been really, really satisfying as a viewer.
I saw a funny theory about Rodney the other day. I know it's not true. It's like Rodney is Terry Silver's son. I was like,
Same
Yeah.
slick back hair, huh?
yeah. I mean, hey, yeah, it could happen. Who knows?
Yeah, Rodney's always got an angle that he's working. And if Rodney can make some money off of that and play along with Terry Silver, then I think he's got a future for sure in that world.
But I mean, who knows? I mean, Terry Silver had a lot of money, so maybe y'all own it. Who knows what could be anything can happen. So
Yeah, well, maybe I can get a scene with Elizabeth Shue. That would be a dream come
yeah, I really just don't think she'll be back though.
No?
Yeah,
She just did that cameo.
yeah. I'm ready for Terry Silver to come back though.
Yeah, he's coming back. What about Hilary Swank? Can you talk about that? You know more than I do.
Here's the thing about that movie. It's not the greatest movie, but the writers can bring her in a way that would be really good.
Okay, I'm listening.
That's how I personally feel about it.
Okay.
Because I mean, Karate Kid 3 ain't the greatest movie in the world, but Terry Silver was awesome. But
Yes, he was.
they're going to bring him in really good. I mean, the writers ain't going to do nothing to hurt the series. So
Yeah, they brought back the Japanese woman.
and Chosen, Kumiko and Chosen. Yeah.
I'll tell you what was the most amazing thing about that whole thing was that they brought back the girl that he saved.
Yeah, Darwin girl, Yuna. Yeah.
That's the actual girl, right?
Yeah, they got I IMDb'd it. Yeah, it was the same girl.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like that movie Boyhood with Richard Linklater. He shot it over 10 years, and the kid who starts out as the boy ends up being the 18-year-old. It's like there's so many things that can go wrong, or somebody can get sick of acting or whatever, and to have that. I think that may be the most impressive thing about the show, man, is they're able to really get so much mileage, and it still plays very fresh. They'll even use the same soundtrack song on certain moments that was used in the movie, and it's just like you're right back there. Did I lose you? Hello.
Yeah, it keeps cutting out. Yeah, the one thing I think like about the writers, they're able to. The only person that's turned them down is the dude that played Dutch. So.
Oh yeah. That's Steve McQueen's son.
Chad McQueen, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just he's been out of it for so long.
Well, his dad left him well off too, so it's not like he's got money to. You know what I'm saying?
Good point. Yeah, it's seeing Bobby come back has been great. The guy who played his enemy in the second Karate Kid was great.
Yeah,
he was great. And the mom, man, I don't know what's happened if they brought her. I don't know if she's still around, but the mom from the original Karate Kid.
She's around. She was in season 1, season 2. Yeah,
but not in season 3, right?
Nah, I don't know why she wasn't, but I wish they'd give Bobby a little bit more
screen time.
Yeah, I mean it'd make more sense, but he lives all the way out in LA, so maybe they don't want to, have to. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't. So yeah, I think it'll do another 2 seasons at least, just based on.
There's going to be at least 6, no doubt.
Okay. Well, the more the better for this show.
The only thing that makes me not think it's going to run long is these kids are in high school. So when they graduate, what do you really?
Well, you can do it like you did 90210. Those kids were 30 playing high school.
Yeah. So yeah, last question? What's your advice, for anybody wanting to get into this industry?
Right. It's funny how it changes over the years.
Yeah.
You always hear people saying, do your own stuff. I think my best advice would be break every rule that you possibly can as an actor, meaning whatever, it's easy to get, follow the leader. It's easy to sort of fall into scene study classes, get the same headshots, get the same agents and all that. And the truth of the matter is, you've got to go your own way and you've got to separate yourself from the herd. And I think the way to do that is to be amazing. And to be amazing, you've got to, completely dedicate yourself to it and get really, really good. I think Steve Martin says in his masterclass, he's like, all these actors come up and say, where do I get the next headshot or where can I get an agent? Shouldn't your first question be, how do I get really good? And so I'll just take a page out of his book and say, be the most amazing performer you can be, and then break every rule you can. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to thank you for coming on. It's great to be able to speak with you today.
I've enjoyed it, my friend. Let's do it again down the road. Okay.
Yeah. After a couple more of your things come out, we can bring you back on and talk about it again.
All right, my friend.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Take care.